Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to Discussing the Universe with Drake.
and Ty. And today we'll be talking about Disney, evil or morally gray.
Yep, that's right. There's been a lot of controversy about this recently because of Mulan and everything, but it's actually been going on, for ages, even
Literally.
before that.
Yeah.
So let's pull out our little Google Doc here that definitely doesn't exist, and let's see our first little point to discuss. Ignore that one, Ty. Ignore that.
Okay, fine.
Okay,
Fine.
so their methods may be bad, but they have good shows, though. Is the first point we have decided to discuss.
We are so good at what we do.
So
Okay.
You go.
Okay, for their methods may be bad. I think at the time of writing that plot point that doesn't exist, I may have been thinking, like, in the current situation, how they were willing to open Disneyland, but they didn't open their offices.
Well, opening Disneyland, of course, was like a really, really bad idea because of the current situation.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they didn't open their offices. That
They didn't.
makes
They
it
didn't open their
interesting.
own offices.
They did not
Yeah.
open their own offices.
They didn't want their employees to
not-
come in, but they
no.
were willing to open the park. So it was like,
they have their priorities, okay?
yeah,
The safety of the people doesn't matter as long as they get money, okay? They can get sued for, like, if the roller coaster, like, kills someone, but they can't if someone just happens to get sick there because of something out of Disney's control. So why would they care? I mean, it makes sense in, like, a business standpoint, but from a moral standpoint,
it's not cool at all. Yeah,
kinda lame.
because we have this, deadly thing going on, and then they're like, hey, why don't we make a hotspot where everybody can get sick all at once? The seats are shared, the air is shared, people, you can breathe, you have to wait in line. It's like, can you imagine 6-foot distance in between, like, groups in lines at
That would
Disneyland?
suck. There can only be like 100 people in
Literally,
like a single area at a
yeah,
time.
like Space Mountain, the line would go outside the park. I guarantee it.
No, definitely. If everyone had to be 6 feet apart.
If anybody's listening to this and that's not from California, we're talking about the one in Anaheim,
Yeah.
specifically, since that's the only one we've been to.
Who else? There's only like, what other Disneylands are there besides like the ones in like super foreign places where they wouldn't even speak our language really?
Disney
and wouldn't
World.
understand us? Disney
in Florida.
World. You're right, but like we said Disneyland.
The only Disneylands I know as / world is Disneyland, with California Adventure that's here, Disney World that has all that jazz in Florida, Disneyland Paris, and then Disneyland Tokyo,
Yeah.
and then I think there's a Disneyland in is it Hong Kong or South Korea?
Hong Kong.
Okay, those are the only ones I know. Like, maybe there's more Disneylands.
Correct us in the comments if we're wrong.
We could be wrong, or there's data that we
Sounds
don't
right.
know.
No, but the big place with the coronavirus. I'm so YouTube doesn't like me saying that.
Don't say the word.
Don't say the
Don't
word.
invoke its name.
Censor that out.
Monetized.
I'm
So I
not
don't
going
care.
to. Because of the coronavirus, it's mostly just in the U.S. So I don't think they care really that much over there. I bet they're fine.
Well, other countries are actually, locking it down, and they're doing a good job. And then the US is like, I have a right not to wear a mask.
I know that this is now suddenly turning into
It's now
the
turning into
coronavirus
COVID talk.
podcast.
It's necessary
Like, all
because
of them, but it's necessary to the subject we're talking about.
Yeah.
When you have a country based solely around the idea of freedom, and then you suddenly make an idea where you can't have that freedom, it's not going to work out well.
True. And it's annoying because it's like, literally, sure, you're free to do that, but you don't need to be a complete asshole while doing it.
I guess.
Yeah, no,
you're
you can
right.
help your brother out, right? Like,
Yeah.
throw people a bone. They're just as free to do whatever they want as you are. You aren't obligated to push your opinion on people, and they aren't obligated to push their ideas and beliefs and opinions onto you.
See, that's a good mindset right there.
Yeah,
That's
it's
good.
the one I live by.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah, it's why I'm talking about it on the podcast.
Podcast. Okay, we're getting a bit off track.
Back to Disney.
Disney was still like morally gray before this whole COVID situation happened.
Yeah,
They still.
I mean,
What were you
I,
gonna say?
well, I feel like big companies, it's like they have to do that. It's like, at McDonald's, like let's compare them to McDonald's, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's in a McDonald's hamburger. I mean, like you do, but you don't really know. Like
Yeah,
you don't know.
It's a barrier of trust that you just have to go by.
Yeah.
That like, oh, this hamburger contains what they say. That's with anything in general, actually.
Pretty much. It's like FDA approved. Yeah, but how much does it cost to pay off the FDA?
And now we're gonna start getting to the conspiracies that the
Now-
FDA is
now we're-
actually. Hey guys, welcome to the Joe Rogan podcast, where today we're gonna talk about why the FDA is actually corrupt.
Oh no.
No, but one example that I like to think of is the whole Lion King being just a stolen concept of Kimba the White Lion.
Right.
That's a big one. It's literally they just copy pasted the story and it sold like $1 million bajillion. It was quite literally.
Long live the king.
It was quite literally just a high budget bootleg, and was pretty much plagiarism. And yet they still get the credit for everything. The movie isn't bad though. Is the problem? Is that I like the movie, but it is just plagiarism.
It's like those, big artists who listen to little artists who don't have support, and then, the big artist steals the other artist's style. Like let's say like a rapper or something stole a small time rapper's bit and then rapped it, and then everybody liked it, and then this one tiny little voice is saying, "Hey, that was mine," and then big rapper's legal team
you, history will not see it that way.
Yeah, history will not see it that way. But yeah, it's just they have the power. That's what makes them like a force.
Yeah, but
that's why people
we're talking about here is that's not really a good thing. But what can we do about it is the problem.
Can't do much because they have basically like a monopoly on everything.
They do have a monopoly on everything, but like the stuff they make is still high quality.
It's still good.
I still enjoy watching it.
Like the new show that everybody should be watching, The Owl House. Drake, you should watch it.
I don't. Okay. Okay.
I've been pestering him on this for like weeks.
Yeah, I know. I was
but
there.
it's a really good show. Yeah, I know you were there. I was pestering you.
That was the joke, Ty.
I know it was the joke.
Leave
it on
the
purpose.
podcast.
Still
Leave the podcast.
But yeah, it's a really good show in my opinion. Like they pump out some really good stuff.
The
and
TV
it's
shows
just
and movies are still very different, though. They have
True.
very different, like.
Speaking of movies,
aspects.
they need to think of some new movie plots because they can't keep doing reboots.
Yeah.
Right.
What was the last original movie, if I remember correctly? The last original movie was. Okay, if we say. How original are we going here? Because everything Disney makes practically is based off some other freaking franchise.
We want. Okay, let's say just not a reboot, and then that'll be our first. That'll be our first.
Not a reboot or a sequel. Then the last one, I believe it was Frozen.
Frozen. Okay. Frozen 2 is an original concept.
Yes, but it's a sequel still.
It's still. But it's still an original story, right?
Yes, but it's a sequel.
Okay, so then we'll just
go
back to Frozen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Frozen isn't even an original concept. It's based on like the book or whatever, Snow Queen.
Seriously? Oh my God, you're right. Oh my God. Okay, before Frozen then.
Frozen.
No.
Okay.
Oh no. That's 2016, right?
Frozen was 2016, I believe. Wait, no. Frozen is 2013.
2013.
Frozen is 2013. I just looked it up.
This is 7 years.
Passing, bro.
Milking things. Okay,
Frozen
these
is a
cows need
2013
water.
American 3D computer animated musical fantasy film produced by Walt Disney Animation Studios. The
God bless the
53rd
animation.
Disney animated feature film. It was inspired by Hans Christian Andersen's 1844 fairy tale The Snow Queen.
Wow.
List of all Disney movies. That comes off of Wikipedia. The source no teacher likes.
Just the only true source.
No, but really,
I just
I
have
don't get why teachers don't like Wikipedia when it's clearly superior to every other source.
yeah,
Like,
and also just use the sources Wikipedia uses.
yeah,
It's like I got it from here.
Wikipedia gives the source, so what's the point? It's like me
I
going
don't
to a
understand.
library and getting like a 200-year-old book on something and being like, this is my source, and the teacher's like, approved. And it's like, here's up-to-date information available to everyone. And the teacher's like, what?
How
What?
dare you?
No. It's like, and they say that, oh, it's because anyone could edit the information. Well, first of all, they
Yeah,
keep
other people
moderators on
can
it at
correct
all
it.
times. And second of all, that's how the old books were written too. Old books were written by people too. Do they not realize that?
Dude, teachers treat old people with like so much respect.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, they were literally just humans that existed before you. It's like, calm down.
Uh, okay, so oh my
Looking
gosh,
at
there's so many
the
movies.
list
So many movies.
of movies, I'm going to
Oh, it's
go
all
all
of
the
them.
way.
It's including live action movies. Oh no, it's too many.
We need to include the live
We're
action
including
movies
live
because
action
those
movies.
technically count. I will now go to 2013.
Actually, I just want to make sure we're not missing something and that the comments aren't going to
Okay,
scream at
okay.
us.
Zootopia.
That's it. Okay, that's the last
That's
original
original.
thing.
That's original. Okay. That was 2016. Wow. Okay, so for
Technically,
4 years.
people. Okay, I'm looking at the list of movies, and actually, the most recent one, which was Onward. But in my opinion, it's literally just Dungeons and Dragons, and they just took it and they're like, wow, what if we made it? And but it was modern times. Whoa, I don't. Onward's
You've
not that
seen Onward,
greatest.
though,
I've
right?
seen Onward. It's not the greatest. It's kind of boring.
Well, like, okay, you bring up the Dungeons and Dragons plot. For
Yeah.
those of you who don't know, we play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
I'd say you're correct, but I'd say also it's
That's
like,
literally what it's literally based after that. That's what it is.
okay, but I'd like to point out there that True Resurrection is a level 9 spell
Oh
for
my
necromancy.
gosh. Oh
It's
my
not a
gosh.
necromancer, therefore it is not Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay. Well, you see, it's because magic. Woo.
Yeah. Magic is incredibly hard to master. Nah, you just gotta keep playing for a few sessions, and then eventually you'll level up, and then you can just do
I
it.
forgot there was a Dumbo remake.
Oh my god, they did Dumbo live action.
They did.
That
They
was
also did. You know, no. Actually, the most obscure live action one is probably Lady and the Tramp
true.
because it was like a Disney Plus exclusive when it just came out, and it's also Lady and the Tramp, so people aren't already the most interested. No,
You
but
know, people.
what like they could be putting their funds into so many other different original things, but they just keep on making the same things over and over again.
Yeah, that this one does not spark joy, but people prophesized when Dumbo came out that this would not end well for Disney. You know, they were
Yeah.
like, "This is not a good style."
Well,
Like Dumbo was the first live action remake, right?
no,
It wasn't.
you were thinking of 101 Dalmatians. Dumbo came out last year.
No. With like CGI.
CGI. Dumbo what? Oh, the let me look at the list of all.
Or was it Lion King?
No, you're thinking of weird things. Your brain is confused, your tiny brain.
Oh my god.
List of all Disney remakes.
No, it was Jungle one. Jungle Book.
I kind of like Jungle Book.
Jungle Book was good.
Jungle Book I like because it's different than the original. It's actually doing something unique. It's
True.
like
Okay.
I like Jungle Book. I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but I like the new Jungle Book a lot. The ones I don't like though are pretty much all the other ones. All the other live action ones. Beauty and the Beast, boring, don't care, whatever. Looks just worse than the original. Lady and the Tramp, already I don't like the original that much, and I haven't seen the live action version. I do not want to. You see, here's the thing. With the newer live action ones, I feel like I shouldn't give them my money by watching it, but then I'll never know if
Hmm.
it's good or not. But at the same time, they shouldn't. They should just be making new things.
Yeah. There's this live action film coming that came out. It seems original. I'm going to click on it and hope it's original. It's
What?
called Stargirl. There's 2 pluses next to it, so clearly it is good.
My parents watched that. I did not want to watch that because it looked like a boring generic original Disney live action movie.
Boring, generic, original.
No,
See,
I
you
meant
put through an
like a
oxymoron.
Disney exclusive. I meant exclusive, not original.
Oh, okay.
Disney exclusive live action thing. Like, have you seen the other? Have you seen
Uh,
any Disney things?
Of course, I have Disney Plus. I pay for Disney. Mostly so my
What?
brother can watch Phineas and Ferb.
Hold on. I'm looking at the list of also
The
Phineas and Ferb.
entirety of Phineas and Ferb is on Disney
Yes,
Plus.
and it's
I
great.
had
It's fantastic.
Phineas and Ferb was an icon, but we're not here to talk
We're not
about
here to
that.
talk
We're
about
here
that.
to talk about Disney, evil or morally great.
great. So fun fact, apparently, that I did not know. This is actually the worst fun fact of all time. Okay, so you know how like the
So it's
first
not a
live
fun
action remake or whatever, I think, was 101 Dalmatians, okay? That came out in 1996. Apparently,
Okay.
there is a live action 102 Dalmatians that came out in
Are you-
2000.
Wow, so original.
They made a sequel to the remake. What even is this movie?
Don't click on it. It'll
I'm
tell your
clicking on
computer
it.
you want to see it. No, because then the computers will be like, "Ooh, Drake wants to see
clicking
what."
on the Wikipedia.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
What's it say?
it made a positive box office thing? Are you kidding me?
Well, I mean, of course, the nostalgia factor.
Yes, but for 102 Dalmatians?
Because nostalgia, Drake. Nostalgia.
Budget was $85 million, and it got $183 million.
Holy cow.
102 Dalmatians, wow.
Nearly $100 million over nostalgia alone.
See, that's
Sometimes
I'm
they
not a
make
fan.
these are even remakes or sequels, but other times they're clearly cash grabs.
Yeah. That segues into that point. Wow, we're so good at this. We're so good at this, Ty. We're so cool.
This is our 3rd episode. We're too good.
So,
Joe Rogan, where you at?
so, you know, we were talking about this before. Jungle Book versus, like, the new Lion King. The Lion King is a literal just shot-for-shot remake.
Yeah.
Of the old version.
I saw a YouTube video where somebody fixed it by using deepfake technology.
I saw that.
It was 300 billion times % better.
I still wouldn't have watched it because, you know, it's just still the original,
Yeah,
but, like, remade.
It looked so much better.
Yeah, but at least it adds back in the character.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I don't understand why they had to do that.
Well,
like,
maybe
what was
you
the
could
idea?
just not make the live action and keep the original one forever.
Keep the original alive.
Yeah.
You could, like, I think an even worse one they could have done might have been to just actually reanimate the Lion King shot for shot.
That's what. But technically, that's what they did. You know.
It is technically what they did, but this time they used like 3D models and all that jazz.
But also, let's do. If anyone classifies that movie as an animated movie, I'm going to break their neck because it's a live action movie. Its intent is to look live action and not animated, so I'm going to consider it.
It's like putting CGI. It's literally CGI. It's not like CGI. It is CGI in real world savannah.
No,
you know?
No, it's not. Not even the savannah is also CGI. The whole movie is CGI.
Has CGI gone too far where I can't even tell the
entire new Lion King movie is CGI. There is not one bit. There's only one shot of live action at the very beginning with like the sun rising, and then the rest of it is 100% CGI.
I bet it's simply because they couldn't get the lighting correct.
No, it's because
they spent, like,
it costs more money to have good shots than to just make good shots.
True.
Never, but there is that side to that where some people think that 3D CGI is just like, oh, it's magic. You hit two buttons, and suddenly the whole
Dude,
thing is done. That's not how CGI
that's
takes a lot
not
of
how it
work.
works. I literally, I'm taking this class in Unity, where we make a game, and one of our tasks was to model and make an animated character that moves when you push a button, right? Making the character itself took, like putting the like arm rectangles into place and legs and stuff. Making a doll, that took maybe 15 minutes, right? Just to get all the sizes correct and like proportions. Actually rigging the stupid thing and making it so that like when you code it, it would know that when you hit this button, it's this limb, or when you hit this button, it's this limb. Doing that took 3 hours.
Yeah, and that's just on like a small scale thing
Yeah,
with a
that's
much
one
lower
character.
budget, and on
No
putting
budget, Drake.
on CGI things like in a real environment, making the shadows and everything look real, making it look convincing, or else your movie is going to get critically panned. It is very difficult.
Right.
It is not just
And
like magic.
it's Disney magic. Not even Disney magic is powerful enough to accelerate CGI.
However, I do still think practical effects look a lot better. Even if they look bad, they make my brain think it's a lot better. Because it's an actual thing.
It's an actual
there.
explosion or fire or
actual explosions are way, way better than fake ones.
Literally, when I visited Gnomon School of VFX and game creation, there was this panel where this guy talked about making a physics engine so that they could do a plane crash correctly.
It's like, just make a plane crash, bro.
Yeah, but I was thinking like, well, you could have like a side of the plane. I didn't say anything like this, but it was like you could have a plane crash, but not like a real plane, obviously, and you could have it on a way smaller scale, so you don't need to pay for an entire plane to crash.
Yeah.
But I understand it's easier, I guess, to make a physics engine where every particle needs to be calculated, and you need a $3,000 computer to even render the first frame.
The computer does a lot of it for you. I get it.
Yeah, and it makes it repeatable, so you don't have to crash the same plane. So I understand why they do.
But like you've seen all the Back to the Futures, right?
Of course I have.
Okay, good. So spoiler alerts for a bit. Skip forward.
Spoiler time. No. Spoiler time for Back to the Future has ended. Like, spoiler. Like when you can't say anything, it's for like a month after the movie comes out.
No, but it's
it has been
too good.
A decade.
Yeah,
you
but no, but it's so good. But the whole trilogy is so good. When watching Back to the Future, I feel like nowadays you have to watch them all in a row, like at least one day apart, to get the fullest experience, because it's so good watching them in a row, and you see all the connections, because they made the movie so perfectly.
Okay.
But you know at the end of Back to the Future 3, where they run over the DeLorean with the train, right?
Yeah.
That's such a cool shot, because they run over the DeLorean in an actual train.
They rammed a DeLorean. Yeah, dude.
And it hits you a lot more than just seeing like, oh, the CGI blows up the car. You have a connection to like the I'm stuttering much right now.
So it's like we got to know that car.
Yeah.
And we felt more.
I would have felt less if it was just like a CGI car and they just crashed it. It would have looked really convincing, but I would have known it was CGI.
Yeah. And also if we saw there's only shots where it's like just the hood and stuff like that, we'd be suspicious of other CGI things. Of course, they had to use CGI on DeLorean to make it fly, right?
Yes, but it's old school CGI, so it's way more practically.
So it looks better.
Instead of just instead of just like replacing the car with CGI, they just put the car on a green screen, and they did the old school green screen stuff is super weird, bro.
It looks interesting though. I saw the first James Bond,
Because they don't
or not
they don't
James.
have like they didn't have advanced computers, and you couldn't just
Yeah,
ultra key the
chroma
background
key.
out with like two clicks of a mouse to get the green away. I looked up a video on
True.
how they did it for
Technical.
like Star Wars and stuff, and like they had to
You had to do it frame by frame. Yeah.
they took like a negative image of it, and then they overlaid it on top of it, which would create like a effect that they could put it in front of that would create an actual hole in a section of film that they would put it over like a stencil.
Oh my god.
And then they would just do it frame by frame for every single one of those.
Yeah, which imagine being the animator back then. It's like, oh my god.
But nowadays for Star Wars, it's just like, oh, they put the
Bippity boppity, green screen go.
bippity boppity, green screen is my property.
Yeah.
I can't
But,
confirm this,
yeah.
but it feels like Mandalorian uses a lot more practical effects. I can't confirm, but it feels like they do.
Maybe that's just Disney tricking you specifically. They're like,
If
Drake,
if they're making the CGI to look like practical effects, then I'm down.
Okay.
Because
okay. Yeah.
I know the child is CGI. I'm 90% sure, but they're making it
Has
look
to
like
be.
it's a puppet. Is what I like. They're not doing movements to make it look real. They're making movements to make it look like it's fake. If you get what I'm saying here.
I see what you're saying.
So
I'm picking
it
up what you're
feels
putting
more
down.
real because they're making it feel less real.
I
But it's
understand
still
what
real
you're
to
saying.
us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
We feel it more because it's like, hey, that it's cute. Not like, oh my god, that is a tiny alien baby.
Yes. The whole Baby Yoda obsession with
We will talk about Baby Yoda maybe in a different podcast. Like this video, show us you want it.
Just quickly, can I just mention that to get back to the point of good shows and stuff, Mandalorian is a really good show, but a lot of people also don't like, the regular Star Wars movies. So, what was it worth it there? People say Disney ruined Star Wars. I wouldn't say that. I honestly wouldn't say that. But if we're going by, let's go by the assumption that the Star Wars sequels, all of them are terrible with no redeeming values, okay? And Mandalorian, the TV show, is perfect and nothing is wrong with it, okay? Let's just go to the extremes there. Does it make it worth everything else?
I'd say no, because
Right.
although I guess we did have to trudge through the mud just to get to that point, like the light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing.
Would you rather have that or no more Star Wars things at all?
I'd honestly have like no more Star Wars things because like technically it's over. They just keep
It was
redoing
over, but like
Jedi versus Sith, and then
there's a part of me on the inside because I've always been a really big Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
As a kid, it was like my favorite thing, and it still was one of my favorite things. But so when I first learned that they are making more Star Wars movies, because like Episode 6 was like the greatest movie on the planet as a child. It still is the best movie ever made, ever, because it's perfect and has no flaws, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with Star Wars Episode 6. It's perfect. Yeah. There's nothing, no plot holes.
Okay. Gotcha.
So when I heard they were making a new one, I was so incredibly excited. And I convinced my mom to let me watch it on day one, and she was like, "No, we're gonna wait because we can't really schedule it." And I was like, "Please."
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Fine." So we went to watch it day one, so I never got spoiled of anything, which was great. I feel sad for the people who did get spoiled.
Yeah.
Force Awakens, I don't care about spoiling. He dies, whatever. Who cares? I knew he was going to die from the beginning. Harrison Ford was never the biggest fan of coming back for Star Wars. If you did not know, Harrison Ford was not the biggest fan of coming back to Star Wars ever to film.
Facts, got it.
There's funny fact. But after I watched Force Awakens, how old is that movie? How old was I?
I don't know how old you were, but I think that movie's like
Force
maybe
Awakens 2015.
5 years old. Yeah, I called it.
2015, around Christmas time, if I remember correctly.
Yes, it was around Christmas time.
Because
The reason I know that is because I was in Philadelphia with my family and we went to watch it.
that's the reason. My mom was like, we're gonna watch it like near Christmas as like a Christmas present. I was like, please, just I'm going to get spoiled and I'm going to hate my life. So
Mother,
2015. So I was 1, 2, 3, 4. I was 12 years old. All right, and after watching Force Awakens, I was like, I love this movie. This movie is fantastic, is great. I can't wait to see more. And now that I look back on it, I watched Force Awakens again. It's not the worst thing, but it's also not as great as I ever remembered it. It's not the best thing. It's pretty But I feel like there's something to that, to where like each generation has their own Star Wars movies, and sometimes people just gotta realize that they're not exactly the target audience anymore. There are children that are growing, because my mom was visiting one of her friends that she hadn't seen in a while, and they had kids or whatever, and they had like the Star Wars, the sequels, like little Funko Pop figures, which I was like, cringe Funko Pops, and I threw them in the garbage.
I didn't do that.
It was a joke. It was a funny joke. But then it hit me. There are tons of people out there. There are tons of children out here who are growing up with these movies and loving these movies like I did. Like they feel attached to these things. They like these things for how they are and not for how they impact like the rest of the series. And
you sound. Oh no! You keep going. I'm just gonna keep laughing.
This is very serious. Okay, this is a very serious topic. Time. What are you? Tell me right now.
You sound like a veteran who's like, I used to be like you. I used to like the Star Wars series.
No,
my time has ended, but yours is just beginning, kid.
I'm one of the few people who actually likes Last Jedi. It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry, you liked what?
I like Last Jedi a lot. Okay, I think it's a really fun movie.
Wow.
We can have this discussion later. But
go over to your house, watch The Last Jedi, and force you to look at every plot point I don't like. Spoiler alert! It's the whole movie.
Spoiler alert! The whole movie is so much fun. Okay. That movie brings me joy. But you know what doesn't bring me joy? Rise of Skywalker. I hate that movie. When I first watched it, I was like, this is okay. But every watch through, I've had like 2 more watch throughs each, and each time it's gotten worse. Every time I watch it. And now I just don't like it at all. Barely any... The only positive thing I have for that dumb movie was that, like, the Palpatine scenes were kind of cool, and they had a good vibe, but the way it ended was lame and bad.
Dude. Oh my god.
This turned into the Star Wars podcast.
This turned into the Star Wars podcast, but that's what we do on this podcast. We start with the topic.
We don't need to stay entirely on topic, no. Yeah. What were we supposed to talk? Let me look at the Google sheet.
Disney evil or morally gray? I bet Disney
is way overpriced. Okay, Disneyland is overpriced.
Okay.
Okay. It's just like a bunch of different. I mean, they're really high quality theme park rides, but where's the point where you need to stop pushing it? There are other theme parks out there, but Six Flags, for example, has all these big roller coasters with like the trillion upside down loop-de-loops. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of those type of roller coasters. I'm a fan of the more tame roller coasters where it's like, say, the Indiana Jones ride in Disneyland. It's really good. It's really good. It's really fun, but it's not like I'm going to die of fear. It also might be because I have a fear of heights, but that's besides the point. That's besides the point here. But Disneyland is really the only theme park place that is like that. So it goes back to the whole monopoly thing again. It's like
it's like they are the only ones.
But no one else has the budget to do it, and if they did do it, then they couldn't make it with Disneyland. They just couldn't.
Yeah.
What other theme park places? There's Six Flags, Knott's Berry Farm.
Those guys are literal children in comparison to Disney. You know, It's like I went to Six Flags. I've been to Knott's Scary Farm. It's like, well, not Scary and Berry, but that's not the point.
As,
It's like
as a
I've been
kid,
to both.
as a kid, because of the advertisements I mostly saw were Not Scary Farm. I thought for years it was just called Not Scary Farm, and there was no Berry
It was
Farm.
Halloween
It
the
was
whole
just
time.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because you never get a Knott's Berry Farm ad. You always get a Scary Farm because
Yeah,
that's when they
they
kick
push
in
it
the
so much because
advertising.
that's how they. Universal Studios is the closest I feel to
That's
to Disneyland.
you know what? Yeah. Because uh, have you been on the Harry Potter ride?
Yes, I have.
Twisted Colossus as well.
No, have I?
Wait, is that?
No. You are
Wait,
thinking of
wait,
something
wait.
else. You are thinking
No,
of
no,
something else.
I'm thinking of Six Flags. I'm
You're
thinking
thinking
of
of
Six
Six
Flags. Oh
Flags.
god, they're molding together.
You're like Twisted Colossus. I'm like, that does not sound like something in Universal Studios.
Magic Mountain ride.
And I
It's a
was
Magic
okay,
Mountain ride.
okay.
Sorry, I'm losing
If
my
you
mind.
go okay, SeaWorld I guess has like 3 rides, whatever.
That's different because the shtick is sea animals.
Yeah,
It's not. It's not
and they
amusement
just
park.
happen to have a couple rides there.
Yeah, it's not roller coaster based. It's
Yeah.
just something fun for other
So
people
it's
to do.
really only Knott's Berry Farm, Universal Studios, Six Flags, and Disney and Company, I guess.
Yeah,
If you just search up theme parks, you just get a bunch of different Disney stuff.
that's all. That's all that's there. It's just
And I'm not talking about water parks here either. Water parks are different. Water
water
parks are
parks.
pretty cool.
Those ones are all slide based.
But once again, the
Which,
ones that drop you 50 feet, I'm not a fan of.
dude, Six Flags wet the Six Flags water park. Literally, like I wanted to go into that chamber one that just launches you downward, but I didn't go on it specifically because the slide it's right next to the fence of the
Oh,
outside park. And
oh.
so I did not feel comfortable going on the slide because I thought I would just jump out and just get launched outside of the park and just fall 50 feet. And I was like, yeah, no, I do not feel like breaking my legs, spine,
I'd be
and
down
or
with it
skeleton.
if there was a million safety nets. And by million
Mhm.
safety nets, I mean they slowed the descent down to 1 meter per second.
1 meter per second. That's still fast, but it's not
It's not
like,
too
you know,
fast. It's not
it,
like I am
it's like you're
plunging
going down a
straight
walking
down
street.
and I'm going to break my legs. I'm
I
going to
want it to be
pass
a
out.
tube. Be a tube. Like I don't want to be able to even slip out. I don't want to feel the outside air. Drown me if you must, but do not expose me to the 50-foot drop.
So what you want is a pool.
Yes.
Just jump in a pool. There you go.
My neighbors are actually building a pool, and it's very loud, so I'm lucky we have this little time
Wow.
of grace to record the podcast.
How long have you been talking for?
40 minutes, wow.
Wow, it's already been 40 minutes. Okay.
Dang, we're good.
Probably wrap this up then.
Yeah, we got a little bit. More, I guess. See, this is what our podcast evolve into for people who are still little.
Okay, yes. Okay. Google probably thinks I'm really into Disneyland now. I mean, I am, but like I'm not. But that's what we were supposed to talk about. We were supposed to talk about is it good or bad.
We can talk about companies listening in on private information on a different podcast.
We can, yes.
Speaking of, maybe we can take this time right at the end here to just think about what our next podcast should be.
Yes. Okay. So, the first 3 we always had planned out. Okay. Now, if you've come all the way to the end of this podcast here, 40 minutes in, then you are a true fan. I can tell. So, what I want you to
First
do
comment
is you gotta say the key word in the comments. What's the key word, Ty?
Shambhala, because that was the Wi-Fi password for Kamartaj and Doctor Strange.
All right, Shambhala. I don't care how you spell it. I will understand. I'll understand. If you say Shambhala, and then like a dash, and then a subject you want us to discuss about, we will add a tiny bit of priority onto those discussions. We have a little list on Instagram in the description. You can go follow my Instagram. I do polls occasionally. asking
Plug in your
people.
Instagram.
Yes, I am plugging my Instagram. I did that last 2 times too. Okay, you can
Wow.
go there.
I will be equally disappointed every time, even though I will also be
Do
plugging my Instagram.
you can vote on polls and stuff for what topics we should discuss about next. Um. So yeah,
I
say the special whatever you said, Ty, key, and then tell us the subject. We'll know you're a true fan.
literally just put it in the comments. I don't care. You don't
Yeah.
have to put
Okay.
Shambhala in
I mean,
front
you
of it.
should because it means you're a true fan, and true fans are always cooler than non-true fans.
I don't care if you're a fan. It's like if you like if you
Yes, but
enjoy
the
what we do.
true fans.
Oh
But
my
the
god.
true, real fans.
If you like what we do, then you like what we do. You don't need to tell us because
You're
we do this
only a
because we
true
like doing
fan
it.
if you donate $500 on our
If
Patreon.
tier 3 sub.
Tier 3 sub on Twitch. Oh, by the way, you probably already know this if you're a true fan, but I have
Oh
Twitch.
my god. Silence. Daily Dose of Existence on Twitch.
It's literally just this channel name except on Twitch. So it's relatively easy to market.
My Twitch is
except-
Ty L1FE.
I think before if you typed in Daily Dose of Existence with no spaces, it wouldn't show anything up unless you put the spaces in between, but I think it actually shows up now. No,
You're good.
it might not. Let me go to YouTube.
That is rough. Next topic, I think we're going to talk about fires, right?
Yes, because
And
of the
humanity.
recent events, we are going to enter
not
the
virus.
realm of politics. No, we're not. It's not really politics. It's more like
it's not a politics issue.
natural
It's
disasters is more of the
literally
general discussion here. So yeah, hold on. Let me just go to YouTube and see if my channel is still rad. Cool. I have to go into an incognito tab because otherwise it will mess up with the search results.
What?
If I'm searching up Daily Dose of Existence on YouTube, but if I do it
you'll
with
get
one of my
Daily
accounts, I'll just get it anyway. So,
Oh, I see.
Daily Dose of Existence.
I believe that's all we have for today. Right? Do you have anything else, or do you want to?
I have
tell
like nothing
viewers?
else.
Okay, well then,
I need
this
to put
is
spaces in between. It just doesn't come up. Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm going to begin the ending.
We still haven't really worked out the ending, so just
yeah. So
improvise.
this has been discussing the universe with
Drake.
and Ty. That's me.
him.
Wow.
Bye. It works.
See you all next time.